What happens when a talk show host's sharp tongue cuts too deep, and the man he targets refuses to stay silent? On a crisp evening in Los Angeles, the stage of Jimmy Kimmel Live buzzed with anticipation, the audience unaware they were about to witness a clash that would echo across America. Jimmy Kimmel, with his smug grin and polished suit, had spent weeks mocking Elon Musk, the billionaire visionary behind rockets and electric cars. But this wasn't about business. No, Kimmel had crossed a line, spewing a nasty lie on national television, claiming Musk had walked out on his family, leaving them to chase fame and fortune. The rumor spread like wildfire, painting Musk as a heartless tycoon. For a man who valued his name, this was a dagger to the chest. Tonight, Musk was here, not as a guest, but as a warrior ready to fight back. The crowd hushed as Kimmel leaned, back in his chair, tossing out his opening jab. "So, Elon, here to tell us why you ditch your kids for spaceships?" The audience snickered, but Musk's eyes burned with fury. His voice, low and steady, cut through the laughter. "You lie about my family, Jimmy, and think I'll just sit there? I'm here to set the record straight, and you're gonna regret that smirk." Kimmel's face twitched, his confidence shaken by Musk's icy tone. The host tried to pivot, tossing out another barb. "Oh, come on, it's just a joke. Lighten up, Rocket Man." But Musk wasn't playing. He leaned forward, his words sharp as knives. "A joke? You call ruining my name a joke? You don't know me, but you're about to." The crowd gasped, sensing the raw anger between them. Kimmel, flustered, snapped back. "You think you're untouchable, Musk? You waltz in here, acting like you own the place? This is my show." Musk's lips curled into a cold smile. "Your show? Then why's everyone watching me?" The audience roared, some cheering, others stunned, as Kimmel's face reddened. He wasn't used to being challenged, especially not by someone who didn't care about his Hollywood clout. The host slammed his desk, his voice rising. "You're a guest here, so sit down and shut up." Musk stood, towering over the set. "I'm not your guest. I'm the guy you slandered, and I'm not leaving till you admit you lied." The tension was electric, the air thick with hostility. Producers scrambled backstage, unsure whether to cut to commercial. Kimmel, desperate to regain control, sneered. "You want the truth? Maybe your family's better off without you." The crowd booed, shocked by the cruelty. Musk's fists clenched, but he didn't swing. Instead, he spoke, his voice booming. "You're a coward, Kimmel, hiding behind your desk, spitting venom. I'm here, face to face, and you're crumbling." The audience erupted, some chanting Musk's name, others jeering Kimmel. The host's eyes darted, his charm replaced by panic. He'd underestimated Musk, thinking he could bully him like any other guest. But Musk was no ordinary man. He was a fighter, fueled by the pain of Kimmel's lie. As the segment ended, Kimmel tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. "We'll be right back, folks," he stammered, as Musk stared him down, unyielding. America watched, jaws dropped, as the feud exploded. This wasn't just a talk show spat. It was personal, raw, and far from over. The stage was set for a battle that would leave one man standing and the other exposed. The cameras kept rolling as the audience's cheers and boos swirled around the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Like a storm. Elon Musk stood tall, his gaze locked, on Kimmel, who squirmed behind his desk, trying to mask his unease with a forced chuckle. The host's attempt to brush off the clash had failed, and now the crowd smelled blood. Musk wasn't here to play nice, and Kimmel's cheap shots had only fueled his fire. "You think you can just move on?" Musk said, his voice steady but laced with contempt. "You dragged my name through the mud, and now you act like it's nothing?" Kimmel leaned forward, his eyes narrowing, desperate to claw back control. "Listen, pal, I say what I want on my show. You don't like it." There's the door. The audience gasped, stunned by the host's venom. Musk didn't flinch. He stepped closer, his presence commanding the room. I'm not going anywhere till you own up to your lie. You said I abandoned my family. Prove it, or admit you made it up. The crowd erupted, some shouting for Kimmel to answer, others egging Musk on. Kimmel's jaw tightened, his usual charm replaced by raw anger. He stood, pointing a finger at Musk. You don't scare me, big shot. You think you're some hero? You're just a rich guy with a loud mouth. Musk's laugh was sharp, cutting through the noise. Rich guy? I built rockets while you built a career on mean jokes. Who's the real nobody here? The audience roared, the energy chaotic as Kimmel's face flushed with rage. He slammed his hand on the desk, his voice rising to a shout. You're on my turf, Musk. I don't answer to you. The crowd booed, sensing Kimmel's desperation. Musk seized the moment, his words deliberate and piercing. You don't answer to me? Fine. Answer to them. He turned to the audience, arms outstretched. You believe this guy? He lies about my life, my kids, and thinks he's untouchable. The crowd cheered wildly, some standing, as Kimmel's control slipped further. Backstage, producers whispered, frantically, torn between letting the chaos unfold and pulling the plug. Kimmel, now pacing, tried a new tactic, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh, poor Elon, so misunderstood. Maybe if you spent less time playing genius, your family wouldn't hate you. The jab landed like a punch, and for a split second, Musk's face flickered with pain. But he recovered fast, his voice low and dangerous. You don't know my family. You don't know what I've fought for. But you? You're just a bully who's run out of tricks. The audience was on its feet. The air, thick with tension. Kimmel, cornered, lashed out. You want to talk bullies? Look in the mirror, Musk. You think you can walk in here and humiliate me? This is my show, my rules. Musk shook his head, his voice calm but lethal. Your show's a stage for lies. I'm here for the truth. Admit you made it up, or I'll keep coming back till you do. The threat hung heavy and Kimmel froze, his eyes darting to the crowd, who were now chanting Musk's name. He tried to laugh, but it came out weak, almost pitiful. We're done here, he snapped, signaling for a break. But Musk didn't move, his stare unrelenting. This isn't over, Jimmy. Not by a long shot. As the show cut to commercial, the audience buzzed with shock, their voices a mix of awe and outrage. Kimmel slumped in his chair, wiping sweat from his brow while Musk stood firm, ready for the next round. America was glued to their screens, the feud burning hotter by the second. The commercial break didn't cool the fire on the Jimmy Kimmel Live set. As the cameras blinked back on, the audience was restless, their murmurs a low rumble of excitement and disbelief. Jimmy Kimmel sat rigid, his forced smile barely hiding, the sweat beading on his forehead. Elon Musk hadn't budged, standing like a statue, his eyes drilling into the host. The crowd's chants of Musk's name lingered, a stinging reminder that Kimmel's grip on his own show was slipping. He cleared his throat, trying to reclaim the spotlight. All right, folks, let's calm down and get back to business, he said, his voice tight. But Musk cut him off, his tone sharp and unyielding. Business? This isn't business, Jimmy. This is you dodging the truth. You lied about my family. Say it was fake, or I'll say it for you. The audience erupted, their cheers drowning Kimmel's attempt to interrupt. The host's face twisted with fury, his charm long gone. You don't run this show, Musk. You're just a loudmouth who can't take a hit, he shouted, standing to face his rival. Musk stepped closer, his voice a low growl. A hit? You call slandering my kids a hit? You're not a comedian. You're a snake. The crowd gasped, some clapping, others shouting, as the insult landed hard. Kimmel's hands shook, but he swung back, his words venomous. Oh, I'm a snake. You're the one who thinks he's above everyone. Maybe your family left you because you're a jerk. The jab was cruel and the audience booed, their loyalty shifting. Musk's eyes flashed with pain, but he didn't break. Instead, he leaned in, his voice steady but fierce. "Keep talking, Jimmy. Every word proves you're scared. Scared of the truth? Scared of me?" The crowd roared, feeding off Musk's defiance. Kimmel, now pacing like a caged animal, tried to pivot, pointing at the audience. "You people think he's a saint? He's a fake, playing the victim." But the crowd wasn't buying it. They jeered, some yelling for Kimmel to apologize. Backstage, the producers were in chaos, one whispering about pulling the plug, another urging to let it play out. Musk seized the moment, turning to the crowd. "Again, he's right about one thing. I'm no saint, but I'm a father who loves his family, and this man tried to tear that apart with a lie. You want a fake? Look at him." The audience exploded, their cheers shaking the set. Kimmel, cornered, snapped, "You love your family? Then why's everyone saying you ditched them?" "Prove me wrong, genius." Musk's face hardened, his voice booming. "Everyone? You mean you, Jimmy. You started this rumor, and you know it's garbage. Admit it, or I'll keep tearing down your lies." The threat was raw, and Kimmel flinched, his eyes darting to the exit. He tried to laugh, but it was hollow. "You're boring me, Musk. This is a comedy show, not your soapbox." The crowd booed louder, sensing his weakness. Musk didn't let up, his words like a hammer. "Comedy? You're not funny. You're desperate. And America's seeing it right now." The audience was on its feet, some chanting for justice, others stunned by the showdown. Kimmel, his voice cracking, tried one last jab. "You'll regret this, Musk. You can't win here." Musk's smile was cold, unshaken. "I already have. You're exposed, and I'm just getting started." As the segment ended, the crowd's energy was electric, their voices a mix of awe and anger. Kimmel sank into his chair, his face pale, while Musk stood firm, ready to push harder. The nation watched, hearts racing, as the battle raged on. The Jimmy Kimmel Live set was a pressure cooker, the audience's roars echoing as the show hurtled toward its climax. Jimmy Kimmel gripped his desk, his knuckles white, his usual swagger replaced by a frantic edge. Elon Musk loomed across from him, unyielding, his presence a challenge Kimmel couldn't escape. The crowd's jeers stung the host, their chants for Musk a blade to his pride. He tried to steady himself, forcing a smirk. "You think you're winning, Musk? This is my world, and you're just a guest who's overstayed his welcome." Musk's eyes narrowed, his voice a razor. "Your world? It's crumbling, Jimmy. You built it on lies, and I'm here to knock it down." The audience erupted, their cheers a tidal wave, as Kimmel's smirk faltered. He stood, his voice shrill with desperation. "You don't get to lecture me. You're nobody here, nobody." The crowd booed, their anger palpable, but Musk didn't blink. "Nobody? I'm the man you tried to destroy with a fake story, and now you're the one looking small." The words hit hard, and Kimmel staggered back, his face a mask of rage and fear. He pointed at Musk, his finger trembling. "You think you're clean? I heard things, Musk. People talk. They say you're a lousy father." The audience gasped, shocked by the low blow, but Musk's response was swift, his voice thundering. "People? You mean your own mouth. You spread that poison and you're choking on it now." The crowd was on its feet, some shouting for Kimmel to stop, others urging Musk to fight. Backstage, the producers were frozen, the chaos too big to contain. Kimmel, sensing the tide turning, tried a new angle, his tone mocking. "You're so tough, huh? Come on, tell us how great you are. Bore us with your hero act." Musk shook his head, his voice calm but deadly. "I'm no hero. I'm a man who loves his kids. You tried to steal that from me, and you failed." The audience cheered, their support a wall around Musk. Kimmel's eyes darted, his confidence shattered. He lunged forward, his voice a snarl. "Failed? I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I don't lose to guys like you. Musk stepped closer, his words icy. You already lost. America's watching, and they see you for what you are. A liar who picks on families to feel big. The crowd roared, their voices shaking the set, as Kimmel's face drained of color. He tried to rally, his voice cracking. You can't prove I lied. You've got nothing. Musk's smile was fierce, unshaken. Nothing? I've got the truth, and I've got them. He gestured to the audience, who screamed their approval. Kimmel, cornered, snapped. This isn't a courtroom. Musk, this is my show, and I say what's true. The crowd booed louder, their disgust clear. Musk seized the moment, his voice booming. Your show? It's a circus, and you're the clown. Admit you lied, or I'll keep coming till you do. The threat was a hammer, and Kimmel flinched, his eyes wild. He tried to laugh, but it was weak, almost a whimper. You're pathetic, Musk. Get out of here. Musk didn't move, his stare relentless. Pathetic? Look at you, Jimmy. Hiding behind your desk, scared of a man who just wants the truth. The audience was electric, their energy a fire that burned Kimmel's pride to ash. As the segment closed, Kimmel slumped back, his voice barely audible. We're done, he muttered. But Musk's gaze promised more. The nation watched, hearts pounding, as the showdown neared its end. The Jimmy Kimmel Live set was a battlefield, the audience's roars a thunderclap as the show reached its breaking point. Jimmy Kimmel sat hunched, his eyes hollow, the weight of Elon Musk's words crushing his bravado. The crowd's boos were relentless, their faith in the host shattered by his cruel rumor about Musk's family. Musk stood firm, his voice steady, ready to deliver the final blow. You're out of moves, Jimmy. Admit you lied about me, or I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are. Kimmel's head snapped up, his face twisted with defiance, but his voice trembled. You think you've won? This is my stage, Musk. I don't bow to you. The audience jeered, their anger a living force, as Musk shook his head, his tone cold and final. Your stage? It's a graveyard for your lies. You picked the wrong man to slander. The crowd erupted, their cheers a wave that drowned Kimmel's weak retort. He stood, his hands shaking, and shouted, You're nothing but a loudmouth. Nobody cares about your truth. But the words fell flat, and the audience's boos grew louder, some chanting for Musk to finish it. Musk stepped forward, his voice ringing with conviction. Nobody cares. Then why's America watching? Why are they cheering? Because they see you, Jimmy, a man who tears down families to hide his own emptiness. The words were a dagger, and Kimmel staggered, his eyes wide with panic. He tried to swing back, his voice a desperate snarl. You can't prove anything. You're all talk, Musk. Musk's smile was fierce, his words a hammer. All talk? I don't need to prove you lied. You've done that yourself. Look at you, crumbling under your own venom. The audience was on its feet, their voices shaking the set as Kimmel's face drained of color. He pointed at Musk, his voice breaking. Get out! You're done here! But Musk didn't move, his gaze unrelenting. I'm done when you say it was a lie. Say it, Jimmy, or live with the world knowing you're a fraud. The crowd roared, their support a shield around Musk. Kimmel's eyes darted to the audience, then to the cameras, realizing he was trapped. His shoulders slumped, and in a voice barely above a whisper he muttered, Fine. I made it up. There was no proof. The audience gasped, then cheered, their voices a triumph that filled the room. Musk nodded, his voice calm but powerful. That's all I wanted. The truth. Now live with it. Kimmel sank into his chair, his head bowed, as the crowd's cheers became a chant of Musk's name. Backstage, producers stood frozen, the show's collapse complete. Musk turned to the audience, raising a hand in gratitude, his eyes shining with relief. Thank you, he said. his voice warm. "You stood with me, and I won't forget it." The crowd's applause was deafening, a celebration of justice. Kimmel tried to speak, to salvage his dignity, but his words were lost in the noise. The cameras cut, and America watched, hearts soaring as Musk walked off the set, head high, a man who'd fought for his name, and won. Kimmel was left alone, his career in tatters, exposed as the bully who'd crossed the wrong man. The nation buzzed with the story, a tale of truth over lies, of a father's love defeating a coward's spite. Musk's victory was complete, a beacon for anyone who'd ever been wronged